Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu sallam wa baraka abdihi wa rasulih. Nabiina wa imamina Muhammad. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Let's get started with a brief and brisk, refreshing review. Last night, Amir, what did we talk about? You knew it was coming.
We talked about hadith.
Hadith, beautiful. Right. Khadir. What did we speak about last night?
We spoke about multiple wives, and one of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, a married cannot marry a wife and her paternal aunt or maternal aunt.
At the same time. Perfect. All right. What else did we speak about? Father Akhi. Everybody should be getting ready to be called upon next. You should have already reviewed. Last night you should have reviewed. This morning you should have reviewed. Right? And if you didn't review, if you did not value the knowledge last night or this morning, then at least get ready now. Because you should know that it's what? It's coming. I'm going to call on somebody next, right? Fadl. Fadl. Fadl Akhi.
I was going to say we talked about the women cannot be thought of as a commodity.
Women are human beings. They're our sisters and our mothers. I don't know how the question came up last night. Do you hate women? When we specifically went out of our way more than once to give respect and virtue to women. However, we suffer from a disease of hearing what we want to hear. Right? That's something that we're all guilty of occasionally. But we clearly express that. Correct or incorrect? Women are not products to be sold and passed around. They are to be respected. Inshallah. What was the main theme of yesterday's lecture? Yesterday's class, yesterday's workshop? What did we speak about? And the Turk was told. You. Yeah. Right next to you. Right next to you. Fadl.
So we talked about, what is that?
Excuse me?
The main thing was
Fiqh of marriage. That's incorrect. What was the main theme? What was the workshop about yesterday? That's close, but that's not correct. Fiqh al-Hadith. Fiqh of Hadith. Fiqh al-Sunnah. Explaining the Hadiths, taking the lessons and the benefits directly from the Hadiths. Not the fiqh, not the ayat of the Quran, not the athar of the Sahaba and the Salaf with the ulama, but directly from the Hadith. Okay, what's the name of the book that we're studying from the sister side? What's the name of it? Umdatul-Ahkam. Who's the author? Who's the author? What year did the author die in? He died at 600. Where was the author from? Huh? He wasn't from Damascus. Where's the author from? What country is he from? Israel, right? It's from the Quds, all right, Philistine, Jerusalem, all right, Khayr, inshallah, all right, no pun intended, as they say, right? There's certain things that we laugh about because that's the only choice that we have. Okay, sometimes you must have some dark humor because it makes you cry. The only thing left is for you to make a joke out of it because it's so mind-boggling, so crazy of what's happening, what has happened, who allowed it, how did it happen, right? You guys get on the same page? Okay, Tayyip. What else did we mention last night? How many hadiths are in the chapter? 16 hadiths. Great. How many hadiths are in the book? 406. Excellent. What are some of the unique qualities of the book? Is Musnad, guys? Or Ghayr Musnad? Ghayr Musnad. All right. What else? What else is special about the book? Al-Book lahu miza, bel mizat. There's something unique about this book, which is what? What do we explain?
It's a great beginner book.
It's a book that's excellent for a beginner studying hadiths about rulings. What else? There's something also special and unique about the book, which all of the hadiths are in Bukhari and Muslim. This is one of the unique features. This is a pro, but at the same time, it's a con. It's a pro and a con at the same time. The advantage of the book only being from Bukhari and Muslim, all authentic, inshallah. You don't have to worry about anything. Sahahu, da'afahu, sawab al-waqf, wuhu mursal, wuhu ma'lul. You have to worry about none of that. But at the same time, the virtue of a book like Bulugh al-Maram or other books that take from the other sources is that there isn't a hadith in Bukhari and Muslim for every single issue. The Bukhari and Muslim hadiths don't cover every issue. But for sure, in Abu Dawood, Ibn Khuzaymah, Muwatta Malik, you're going to find a hadith on all of the fiqh issues from A to Z. Everybody understand this? So it's a pro and it is a con. And that's like anything in life. Anything in life. Being tall is an advantage. In certain circumstances and situations, being tall is a disadvantage. Being short is a disadvantage to many people in different situations. In other circumstances, is an advantage by being short. So the fact that it's totally authentic Bukhari and Muslim is an advantage, but at the same time it's a handicap. Whereas Bulugh al-Maram is going to give you the abwab and the masail start to finish. All right, Tayyip. What else did we say last night? Jazakallah khairan. Barakallahu feek. Shukran. What else did we speak about last night?
We'll have this one.
That's it. That's all we talked about last night. Fadli Akhi.
You must fulfill obligations made before nikah.
Marriage conditions of marriage. All obligations have to be fulfilled. We agreed on this day that you would do this, that I would be here. We agreed on this. You would pay me, you would compensate me, etc. Business, buying and selling, but the marital agreements, they have the highest right to be fulfilled. And that is because they made a thing which is so unlawful, so dangerous to be lawful. Mastahlaltum bihil furuj. Tayyib. Anything else? What else did we talk about last night? Don't forget, guys, the people of Hadith, whom we ask Allah to make us from, they would say, mudhakaratul ilmi hayatuhu. Revising knowledge is the lifeblood of knowledge. You have to revise. You have to review. Okay? That's a big part of being a student of knowledge in general, and about being a student of Hadith, being a Hadith disciple, is that you have to review. You got to revise. You sharpen up all of the time. All right, what else did we talk about? That's it? Fadlan, Sajid?
The asl in Islam is polygamy.
We said that the asl, when it comes to marriage in Islam, and also out of Islam, but we're just talking about Islam, for sure, is plural marriage. And the asl has never just been monogamy, starting off in just one wife. That's not Islam. All right, what else did we say last night?
Very important matter. When you're learning in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, learning knowledge, it's not going to be easy. And also, if you get very big, people might get envious of you for no matter. For no
Is
reason.
that you will be tested.
Yes.
If you adopt the way of the prophets and the messengers, you will be tested. And brothers who want to go to Medina, you want to go to Egypt, you want to go study here, you want to benefit from this scholar and that scholar, if you don't have thick skin, and if you're not ready and willing to suffer and to be made fun of and harmed and annoyed and bothered and spoken about, don't quit your day job. You can't be a weak-willed student of knowledge. You can't be, quote-unquote, a yellow-belly student of knowledge. You have to have guts. And the more knowledge you get and the more benefit you put forth to the people, the stronger the forces of those who oppose you will become. That's a rule of life. The stronger you grow, the stronger your enemies are going to grow, and the more resolved they're going to be. All right? So people are going to envy you, people are going to speak about you, people are going to hate you for nothing that you did to them. No personal reasons, except that the people love you, and they truly love you. The people only love me because of what I look like. The people only love me because of the money that I have. The people love me because of my jewelry, because of the popularity. The people only love me because of the girls I got around me. That's it. But the moment those girls or the jewelry, the cars, the money, the moment all of that is going and taken away, I don't have no real friends. But the difference between you, old scholar, or imam of the masjid, is people make dua for you. They get happy when they see you. They truly love you, and that's something that I never had. And this goes to show you the ultimate superiority of the deen over the dunya. True love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala versus worldly love. A fake friend, a fair weather friend, right? This is one of the reasons why they envied him, unfortunately, like many other great imams. Fine. Anybody else? That's it. We can start our class now. Fadal Sheikh.
Young men with means should marry early.
Young men should not delay marriage unnecessarily. It isn't a good thing. It is unhealthy. It's not all right to live celibately, to just live by yourself, right? A man is made for a woman is made for a man. All right, khairan inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. There are many other fawaid that we mentioned as well. Hopefully we're going to finish the chapter. And we're going to go back, if we have enough time, and read some more things from the introduction with regards to the book, and with regards to some of the fiqh of marriage being recommended or obligatory, etc. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. All right. Hadith number 11. Now, the 11th hadith, Khidr. Fadl
Page
Sajid.
17.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال المؤلف رحمه الله تعالى عن انس بن مالك رضي الله عنه قال: من السنة إذا تزوج البكر على الثيب أقام عندها 7 ثم قسم، وإذا تزوج الثيب أقام عندها 3 ثم قسم.
Jazakallahu khairan. The 11th hadith of the chapter, hadith number 317, is narrated Anas radiallahu anhu. It is from the sunnah that when a man has a wife, that when a man who has a wife marries a virgin, he should spend her 7 nights, or spend with her 7 nights. And thereafter divide the time between them equally. And if he marries a formerly married woman, he should spend with her 3 nights, and thereafter divide the time between his wives equally. Hadith Bukhari Muslim. Anas radiallahu anhu, not me. Anas says that it is from the sunnah that if and when a man enters the gate of polygamy, he is to do certain things. And those certain things that he's supposed to do is extra time, like a signing bonus. You sign with a company and they give you additional money just as a bonus. This isn't your pay, this isn't your salary, this isn't your stipend, it's an additional portion of wealth, signing bonus. So if a man is married to a woman and he takes away his 2nd, 3rd, or 4th wife, and this wife happens to be a virgin, she was never with a man before, he is to give her 7 additional nights, extra nights. And these nights are not a part of the equal every night, every 2 nights, every 3 nights that he already has with regards to qasam. And if a man marries a 2nd, 3rd, or 4th wife and she was not a virgin, he's to give her 3 additional nights. After those 7 additional nights, after those 3 additional nights, then he goes back to the equal division of the nights. Everybody clear on this? So the virgin girl, the girl who isn't a virgin, the young woman, the woman, older, young, whatever the case may be, that's her signing bonus. And it has nothing to do with her salary. Everyone understand this? The man cannot say, well, I spent 7 nights with you, so now I don't have to see you for another week because my first wife is upset. My first wife is jealous, she's mad. I already got married. I married a girl that's a virgin, right? She's already feeling like this, and I spent 7 nights, so now I take you on a vacation for 2 weeks. La, thumma qasama. Then you go back to the division of time. So the main lesson from this hadith is that it is an act of the sunnah, a virtuous act. It is the prescribed act that when a man marries another woman, he gives her additional nights based off of whether she is or isn't a virgin. That's the dilala fiqhiyya min al-hadith. Everybody clear on this? And once again, I'm not the author of this book. This hadith clearly solidifies what I previously what? What I previously mentioned. And not like the different stipulations that people make today, that polygamy was only during times of war, or is only in times of necessity, and it's only when the first wife can't have children, and it's only. That is all from the enemies of al-Islam, Western or Eastern, more specifically Western. And the Messenger of Allah encouraged the Muslims to have as many children as possible. He encouraged the Muslims to have families and to make families and to produce families. He encouraged us to do this. Okay? So it's already expected that a man is going to, it's clear. Alright? It's nothing which is someone is just making up some type of chauvinistic theory, misogynistic theory. Alright? Khayran inshallah ta'ala. And this hadith also teaches us is that in Islam, a person's status and a person's background is considered. A woman who's never been with a man before is considered in a certain way, versus a woman who has been with a man before. Wallahu a'lam. The next hadith, Ibn Abbas. لا تفضل.
عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لو أن أحدكم إذا أراد أن يأتي أهله قال بسم الله اللهم جنبنا الشيطان وجنب الشيطان ما رزقتنا فإنه إن يقدر بينما ولد في ذلك لم يضره الشيطان أبدا.
Jazakallah khairan. The 12th hadith of the chapter is reported by Ibn Abbas. Allah's Messenger ﷺ said that if anyone means to have intercourse with his wife, says, in the name of Allah, O Allah, keep us away from the devil and keep the devil away from what thou hast provided us. Should it be ordained that a child be born to them thereby, no devil will ever harm it. This hadith shows and teaches us, once again, as I explained last night, is that the Quran and the Sunnah embrace the reality of life. And a big part of life is sexuality. You can run from it, you can hide, you can act like it doesn't exist, you can make it taboo, but it's a staple part of life. And if it is a staple part of life, then the Quran and Sunnah, they're going to give us guidance and instruction for something as a part of our lives. Because our deen is not just a religion or faith, but it's a way of life. It's a way of death. Everything that can and has and will take place to the human being, Islam will give us guidance and instruction. And general, explicitly and explicitly, big or small. And from that is sexual intercourse. You have to have sexual intercourse. You're married. It's a big part of being married. So therefore, there is a means of spirituality behind the intercourse. And there's a means behind you getting closer to Allah through intercourse. وَفِي بُضْعِ أَحَدِكُمْ صَدَقَةً. The Prophet ﷺ said that when you make dhikr, it's sadaqah. Tasbih, and tahleel, and takbir, and tahmeed, right? Many people, men and women, they'll accept that. Beautiful spirituality. And then the Prophet ﷺ says what? وَفِي بُضْعِ أَحَدِكُمْ. And when you are with your wife, when you fulfill your carnal desires, it is a means of charity. You are getting closer to Allah by this act. So remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all of the time, even in the bedroom, in the time of intercourse, you are to make dhikr. And from that dhikr, Allahumma, oh Allah, make this baby of ours, inshallah, that we're trying to make this baby righteous and pious. Keep the baby away from evil, spiritual evil, mental evil, physical evil. And do not allow, keep the shaitan outside, Allah. Don't allow the shaitan in this marriage of ours, this relationship of ours. There isn't anything closer than when a man is with a woman. That's the closest of the closest. And that's why Allah mentions "Hunna libasun lakum," that women are supposed to be covers and blankets for you. They're supposed to touch your skin. There's nothing more intimate than that relationship. It's a sacred relationship. And that the shaitan is to remain on the outside. And we learn from this hadith is that any outsider is to remain on the outside. Whoever is an outsider, whether it's your mother, your father, your friend, anyone, friend or enemy, it has nothing to do with me and my wife. Our relationship is an A and B conversation. Everyone understand this. And everyone who comes to you and who butts their nose into your marriage isn't always sincere. Never underestimate the power of envy. He told Yusuf, do not tell your brothers what you saw, unless the shaitan will make a plot against you, unless they will make a plot against you. فَيَكِيدُ لَكَ كَيْدًا إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لِلْإِنسَانِ عَدُوٌ خَفِيٌّ. صحيح؟ في قراءة عدو خفي. The shaitan is a hidden enemy to man, right? Mubin, exactly. A plain enemy. So use your common sense. Why would you allow your plain enemy into your personal, secret, intimate relationship? Unless you are a fool. And so many of us, we make this mistake. My friend is my friend, my wife is my wife. My mother is my mother, my wife is my wife. And this is one of the most common problems that we have in marriages today, is that a man is stuck between his mother and his wife. His mother will openly, blatantly say, "You're going to pick her over me? I gave you birth. I'm your mother. Paradise is under my feet. How are you going to pick her over me?" And of course, the woman is going to say, "My husband always defends his mother. My husband will talk about me in front of his family. My husband throws me under the bus in front of his family. My husband never sticks up for me. My husband never takes my side in front of his family." And the man is literally stuck in the middle. And he feels that he has to take an ultimatum. There is no ultimatum. There is no, if you're not with us, then you're against us. You're my mother, my love, my relationship for you is like no one else. No one can come and take the status that you have for me. And you are the woman that I share a bed with. You're my wife, my mother, my daughter. No one can have the relationship that me and you have. There is no ultimatum, pick her or pick me. Everyone understand this or not? So keeping the shaitan out, the physical shaitan, the shaitan himself, shayateen from human beings, keep them away from your personal, intimate life. Advice is a thing, helping out is a thing, but no one is to dictate to you and tell you how you're going to run your marriage. And anyone who does that is wrong. The mother, the father, the sheikh does not have that status. Nobody was given that status by Allah. And I'm only speaking about this is because this is very common. And many brothers and sisters come to me with this problem. And this hadith shows us is that it's supposed to be husband and wife. Nasiha, no problem, but from a distance. Everybody clear on this? Okay, so this is the dhikr that a man is to make before he is intercourse with his wife. And some narrations say that he's to place his right hand on her forehead. Also, this the scholars differ on what's meant by لَمْ يَدُرَّهُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَبَدًا. وفي رواية لَمْ يَدُرَّهُ شَيْطَانٌ نَكِرًا أَبَدًا. That the shaitan won't harm him at all, or certain shayateen won't harm him at all. What's important is hadith shows us tarbiyah. We have to make tarbiyah of our children, and the tarbiyah of our children does not begin with school. It does not begin with madrasa or duksi. Tarbiyah does not begin with the name you give your child. It doesn't begin with the halal food. Tarbiyah begins before the child is even conceived. And some of the Salaf Salih, some narrations of the Sahaba say that a man should even remember Allah and make dhikr at the time of climax. When he reaches his orgasm and he wishes for the wife to conceive the child, he needs to make dhikr as well. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Next hadith.
عن عقبة بن عامر رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إياكم والدخول على النساء. فقال رجل من الأنصار: يا رسول الله أفرأيت الحمو؟ قال: الحمو الموت.
Jazakallahu khairan. Hadith number 13. Uqba ibn Amir radiallahu anhu, he reported, avoid going in where women are. A man said, Messenger of Allah, tell me about the relatives of a woman's husband. To which he replied, the relatives of a woman's husband are death. إِيَّاكُمْ وَالدُّخُولَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ. Beware of entering upon women, i.e., who aren't your mahrams. Beware of flirting and being flirtatious. Beware of the improper, listen closely to my words, please. My words are exact and precise. Improper mixing of sexes. Whereas we have explained that the sheer act of two sexes mixing isn't necessarily haram. And there are times which men and women can be in a location, a room, a building, and it's not haram. But when the two genders are mixed incorrectly, for sure, it's haram. And it leads to, as we see, al-hamul maut. He said that this relative of your wife, this relative of the husband is death. Meaning people, they lower their guard when it comes to certain relatives and family members. They may not be mahrams. Or even if they are mahrams, they're too lax. So the Prophet ﷺ tells us, do not enter upon women and laugh and joke and sip and drink tea with them. Don't think that, oh, she's just my friend. I would never think like that. Your mind is in the gutter. It's not even like that. She's a co-worker. It's not even like that. That's my cousin. It's not even like that. She ain't even my type. It's not even like that. I'm just going to school. Never have that mindset. And when you think like that, that is when the shaitan will snatch you. And the next thing you know, a wink, a laugh, a joke, a text, a this, an airdrop, a blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, shaitan got you. So beware of sexes mixing incorrectly. إِيَّاكُمْ وَالدُّخُولَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ. Nothing can be clearer than this hadith. And we have many people today, supposed scholars, doctors, intellectuals, academics, who go with no shame, no shyness, and they'll say, oh, this is Wahhabi, this is strict. Oh, the brothers and the sisters, they can sit next to each other. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't be too strict, don't be too harsh. This is culture, this is Arab culture. The Prophet ﷺ said, Iyakum, beware of dukhul ala nisa, even if it's a family member and a relative. And he called him a means of death, cheating, infidelity, incest, etc. A man, how he deals with his mother and his sister and his daughter, they're his mahrams. But it doesn't mean he can see them dressed in any fashion. It doesn't mean he can do anything with them. It doesn't mean he can touch any part of their body. It doesn't mean they can be all lovey-dovey, kissing and hugging and playing. And it doesn't mean that. Because the shaitan is an enemy to man. So this is a tremendous hadith. And I'll tell you a story about a good friend of mine from Venezuela. He reverted to Islam, and he had a great passion for learning the deen. And alhamdulillah, he was blessed by Allah to get a temporary scholarship to go to Egypt. I'm not going to mention the name of the university, because many people, they just think that it's a sport to just bash this university and to speak ill of this university. Is everything right and correct in this university? No. Anything that's pertaining to human beings will be flawed. But it's still respect that this university does deserve. So I'm not going to mention it. What's important is, he got a temporary scholarship to go to this country, and he wasn't in the university, but it was like a program, like a camp program for new revert Muslims from minority backgrounds. So therefore, when he got there, he said that the teacher, he said, this is his words now, he says he was shocked the teacher didn't have a beard. And he said, all the Muslims that I would see and the Muslims that I would look up to, they all had beards, but he was clean shaven. So he had a clean shaven face, a suit and a tie. No problem. Right. So he said that the teacher, every single opportunity that the teacher got to talk about Wahhabism and Wahhabis and Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, he would do so with new revert Muslims that didn't know anything about Islam. Don't be a Wahhabi. Don't be a Wahhabi. Be aware of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Don't be a terrorist. Don't be an extremist. Don't. Just propaganda. Throwing it down them, forcing them to be brainwashed. So he said that turned me off a little bit. He said, so one day, after the classes, we went to our dorms. And there were brothers and there were sisters. So obviously, listen to this now. The new revert Muslims knew that the men and the women shouldn't be mixed together. No man should be bunking or a roommate with a woman. It's just, it's a bad idea. It's going to lead to evil. It's bad chemistry. So one day, the professor, he came by our dorms. He asked us how we were, how are you guys doing? And he saw that the men and women were avoiding each other and being so close with each other. So he asked him, he says, what is this? What is wrong with you guys? Are you guys extremists? Are you Wahhabis? Didn't I tell you don't be a Wahhabi? There's nothing wrong with men and women being friends in Islam. And there's nothing wrong with men and women sitting and talking and they can share a cup of cappuccino. There's nothing wrong with that. Islam is a peaceful, loving religion. So the brother from Venezuela, he said, okay, no problem. Next day, a couple days went by, the teacher kept pushing. So he said, yes, Sheikh. He says, we'll accept what you're trying to tell us, but we want you to come and spend the night with us one night. So the teacher said, of course, no problem. So that night, the teacher, he went and he spent the night with the new revert Muslims. And the brother, he asked him, he says, yes, Sheikh, where's your wife and daughter? Why don't we see them here? I want to meet your daughter. She can sleep in, my bunk. Your wife can be next to me and we can all just, have a happy family. And of course, the sheikh became very upset and very mad. His face got red. What are you trying to say? You trying to disrespect my daughter? Are you trying to disrespect my wife? He said, Sheikh, didn't you tell us don't be Wahhabis? Didn't you tell us don't be extreme? So he wants them to mix and to fraternize, but not with his tender, precious women folk. You see the hypocrisy now? And the danger of it. People are pushing they're pushing things on people that they themselves aren't comfortable with. Free mix, just not with my family though. All right, shake her hand, not my daughter's hand. Shake this woman's hand, just not my wife's hand. clearly proving that you really don't believe what you're saying. And in your heart, you know that that's evil and that's wrong. You guys get the moral of the story? Wallahu ta'ala. All right, let's move forward to the next hadith. It says, وَلِمُسْلِمٍ
ولمسلم عن أبي الطاهر عن ابن وهب قال سمعت الليث يقول الحم أخو الزوج وما أشبه من أقارب الزوج ابن العم ونحوه.
There's a version of Sahih Muslim that says, Ibn Wahab said, I heard Layth ibn Sa'd that's saying, Al-Hamu means the brother of husband or like, from amongst the relatives of the husband, for example, cousin, etc. And the point is beyond clear, that everyone who's related to you isn't a mahram. And even if that person is a mahram, there are rules of gender interaction. There are extremes, there are people who are lax, and there are those who have the proper balance in the middle. Wallahu ta'ala. So these are 13 hadiths in the beginning of Kitab al-Nikah. Let's move forward to Bab al-Sadaq, the chapter concerning the marital gift. Fadl.
قال رحمه الله باب الصداق عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أعتق صفية وجعل عتقها صداقها.
Anas bin Malik, hadith number 14. He said that the Prophet ﷺ manumitted Sophia and made her manumission her dower. Bab al-Sadaq. Al-Sadaq has several names and several titles. Some scholars say 10 names. 10 names for mahar, sadaq, nihla, etc. And it basically, sadaq comes from sad, del, and qaf. Sadaqa. And what's meant by that, dalilun ala sidqi niyatul khatib. It's a proof that the groom has sincere intentions and that he's honest and he wishes to marry this daughter or this woman honorably. That's why it's called sadaq. Alright? Okay. A sadaq is obligatory. It's the haqq of the woman. And like many other issues pertaining to marriage, there are three groups regarding the sadaq. There are the zealots, there are the nonchalant, and there are the balanced moderate. The zealots, ashabul qulub, are those who make the sadaq the most important aspect of the marriage. Those who are overzealous, they put huge dividends on the sadaq. You have to pay such and such amount of thousands of dollars for my daughter, along with gold and clothes and the banquet and house and this, and break the groom's back. And they turn the sadaq into a big fancy fashion show. And the girl, the sister, the woman who has the biggest sadaq is the best woman and the best family and the most honorable family. And we're not poor, we're not some measly beggars. You can't just give my daughter, something, bismillah. No, you have to give my daughter something valuable, something costly, something expensive. And they prevent their daughters or sisters from marrying because a man comes who's religious, who's pious, she's interested in, but he can't, or he isn't willing to pay that amount of money for her. So she waits and waits again. 3, 4, 5 men go by and she's still on the market. He's looking for a bigger bidder. And obviously, every time a brother comes and asks for her hand in marriage, the father says no, just because of money. She's getting older and she's becoming more hard-hearted towards her father. Her father is ignoring her wants and her needs. And her father is holding her ransom for his material greed. I need more money for my daughter. You can't get married until I find a brother that can pay enough money. So that's one group. And then there's another group of those who think and feel that a woman can't, and there are other aspects of things which are wrong, such as taking the sadaq from the girl, from the bride. The brother offers her the sadaq, and the father takes all of it. It isn't the father's right, it's the woman's right. If the woman wishes to give it, alhamdulillah. Abby, take this money. You deserve it. You took care of me for all of these years. You fed me, you clothed me. Tafadhal, this is my gift to you. Labas. But for the father to come in and to swoop and to take everything from the daughter is wrong. That's incorrect. And that is a means of creating and sowing animosity between father and daughter. Just as a back-breaking sadaq as a means of creating animosity between the father and the son-in-law. And this is one of the reasons why there's so much toxicity in the marriages. It's because the people's hearts are against each other. I really don't like you. And the only reason why I speak to you and smile to you is because of your daughter. And the father feels the same way about the groom. You were never good enough for my daughter. You were too broke. You were too poor. Your family was too shabby. But my daughter, she kept begging me. She kept asking me. So I allowed you to marry her. But don't think that I was ever pleased with you. Don't think that I like you as a son-in-law. So what is the Muslim unity going to be like when these hearts harbor this malice and rancor for each other? You think they're going to have unity? You think they're going to have barakah? Of course not. They're going to be together physically, but their hearts are going to be against each other. So the hearts must be pure. And from the ways of keeping the hearts pure is facilitating things. The daughter is going to love her father for trying to marry her off and looking for a good, compatible husband for her. The daughter is going to love her father and appreciate her father for making things easy when he could have made them difficult. My father could have said, pay more, but he said, whatever you got, bismillah, I want you to marry my daughter. She's going to love her father. And the groom, the son, is going to look up to the father as a second father. Jazakallah khairan ya Sheikh, you helped me out, you helped us out. You allowed me to marry your daughter. I appreciate you, I respect you. And when the hearts are together, the family is going to grow stronger and stronger and purer. So the Prophet ﷺ, he warned us from going extreme when it comes to these things. Now there are those who think and feel that a woman doesn't deserve anything, and that a woman can't ask for anything, and that a father can't demand anything. And there are those who think and feel if the father says, where do you work? Do you have money saved up? Are you going to school? Are you studying overseas? Oh, he's a gold digger. She's a gold digger. If a father wants financial stability for his daughter, it doesn't mean that they're gold diggers. If a father wants a man to take care of his daughter, he wants to feel comfortable that his daughter is going to be okay, that's not a bad thing. And if he wants a little more than just average, that also isn't a bad thing. So there are extremes on both sides. And then there are those who are right in the middle. If you paid $1 million, if you paid $500,000, if you paid $20,000, whatever for the sadaq, and you got it, alhamdulillah. Fadlullah. And if you had $1, $5, $10, $50, and my daughter is okay with it, and you're going to take care of my daughter, and you're going to make her happy, and you're going to bring me good grandchildren, inshallah, you have good deen, good khuluq, bismillah. And only a few fathers, of course, are like that. Only a few. Khair, inshallah. So therefore, that is the sadaq. There are different rulings that pertain to the sadaq, such as it doesn't have to be agreed upon in the beginning of the marriage, but it's best. The sadaq, la yushtarat an yusamma. It doesn't have to be agreed upon. It can be deferred, but you should agree upon it in the beginning. The way things don't pop up and arise later on. All right? And oftentimes people, they get divorced and the husband never paid the sadaq. And now he doesn't want to pay it. Or husband wants another wife and the first wife says, you never gave me my haqq. How are you going to take on another woman and you didn't give me my ring yet? You didn't give me my gold. You didn't pay me the money that is my haqq to get. So it's always best to pay the sadaq up front. Do not defer it. It's best to pay up front. We on the same page? All right? And of course, the more manageable the sadaq, the easier it is. And from the tricks of the shaitan, and from the traps of the shaitan, is that the higher the marital or the bridal gift is, the more difficult it is for the woman to get the khula when she needs to get the khula. And the man, he knows this. And he's going to ransom her. He's a bad husband. Instead of fixing his bad ways, fearing the law concerning his wife, he says, you want to leave? You want a divorce? No problem. But you got to give me back the $50,000. And he knows that the woman doesn't what? He knows she doesn't have the $50,000. So he's making fun of her. You understand? He's dangling her freedom in front of her face. You want to leave this marriage? Pay me what I gave you. So you shot yourself in the foot by asking for that big giant sadaq. And there's a big possibility, the unfortunate reality is that the marriage may end up in a failure. And the husband isn't willing to give talaq. You want the khula, you need the khula, and he says no khula until you give me my money back. I paid you that money with the intention of you being my wife forever. You don't want to be my wife no more? I'm a bad husband? No problem, but money talks. And we know what else walks. So it's a mushkila. Versus the sadaq being manageable, the woman says, I need a khula, I don't have it right now, 3 months, 6 months, I'll have your money. You get the point I'm trying to make? So there's hikmah in sticking to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So this narration, the narration of Anas tells us, is that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, he freed a woman whose name was Safiya. And obviously Safiya, she was of the Jewish nobility of Arabia. Right? After the battle of Khaybar. And it was mentioned that she was very beautiful. And the Sahaba knew that this woman only was befitting of the Messenger of Allah ﷺ. And the Messenger of Allah freed her. She was no longer a captive of war. She was no longer a slave. And her sadaq wasn't gold. It wasn't silver. But her sadaq was the manumission. So this hadith proves is that the sadaq can be a service. And it doesn't have to be something monetary. The sadaq does not have to be actual money, but it can actually be a service as well. A benefit. Everybody understand this? So for argument's sake, a sister wants to marry a brother who's a teacher of the Quran. And the brother says, well, what would you like for your gift? And she says, I want you to teach me the Quran. But I don't want you to teach me like a wife. I want you to teach me like a student. I want you to actually teach me. And obviously that Quran teacher, he's compensated for his time in the masjid. He's paid for teaching Quran. It's work. It's hard work. So the service of him giving her tafeez, she can make that her sadaq. Everybody clear on this? All right. And obviously, whenever the sadaq is something tangible, it's always easier. Next hadith.
عن سعد بن سعد الساعدي رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم جاءت امرأة فقالت إني وهبت نفسي لك فقامت طويلا فقال رجل يا رسول الله زوجنيها إن لم يكن لك بها حاجة فقال هل عندك من شيء تصدقها فقال ما عندي إلا إزاري هذا
تصدقها
هل عندك من شيء تصدقها فقال ما عندي إلا إزاري هذا فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن أعطيتها إزارك جلست ولا إزار لك فالتمس غير هذا فقال ما أجد قال فالتمس ولو خاتما من حديد فالتمس فلم يجد شيئا فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم هل معك شيء من القرآن قال نعم فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم زوجتكها بما معك من القرآن.
Jazakallahu khairan. The 15th hadith of the chapter states, Sahel ibn Sa'd told of a woman who came to God's messenger and offered herself to him. When she had stood for a long time, i.e. without receiving an answer, a man got up and said, Messenger of God, marry her to me if you had no need of her. He asked him if he had anything to give as her dower. And when he replied that he had nothing but the lower garment he was wearing, he said, look for something, even though it should be an iron ring. Then the man had sought and found nothing. God's messenger asked whether he knew any of the Quran, and when he replied that he knew Surah so-and-so, and Surah so-and-so, and so, he said, I have given you her in marriage for the part of the Quran which you know. Let's read this hadith one more time in Arabic. Everybody please pay close attention. Or please pay close attention. عن سهل بن سعد الساعدي رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم جاءته امرأة. One day, listen carefully to the hadith please. One day, one random day, the Prophet ﷺ and his Sahaba standing around, sitting around, one day, جاءت امرأة, a woman came. She approached the Messenger of Allah ﷺ. Okay? And all of a sudden she said, وَهَبْتُ نَفْسِي لَكَ I have given myself to you. Take me, I am yours. فَقَامَتْ طَوِيلًا, and she stood for a very long time. One version of this hadith states, فَصَوَّبَ فِيهَا النَّظَرْ وَصَعَدْ. Listen carefully. The Messenger of Allah looked at this woman from top to bottom, bottom to top. And he wasn't interested in her for one reason or another. No, thank you. I'm okay. Or as we would say, I'm good. All right? Malish, it's nothing personal. I'll pass. So all of a sudden, فَقَالَ رَجُلٌ يَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ, another Sahabi stood up. A Sahabi, he said, "O Messenger of Allah, if you don't like her, if she's not good enough for you, if you'll pass, I'll take her." Are we going to understand this? If you don't wish to marry her, then allow me to marry her. The Messenger of Allah, والسلام, he then said, the hadith says, إِن لَمْ يَكُنْ لَكَ بِهَا حَاجَةٌ فَقَالَ هَلْ عِنْدَكَ مِنْ شَيْءٍ تُصْدِقُهَا. What can you give her? What bridal gift, what dower, what sadaq can you donate to this woman? Can you give this woman? The man said, مَا عِنْدِي إِلَّا إِزْهَرِي هَذَا. He says, the only thing that I'm wearing, this izar, this waist sheet or lungi or whatever you want to call it, that's the only thing that I have. The top of his body was exposed. That's how poor he was. He didn't have a rida. All he had in 2023, Minnesota, a pair of pants, for example. That's it. Imagine that, somebody walking in this building right now with a pair of pants on and no shirt. And that's why they have in different restaurants, no shoes, no shirt, no service. Okay? Because in most cases, someone who's dressed like that is either going to annoy people, ask for money, etc. But let's say a Muslim came in right now and he was that poor. He was so poor that he only had on a pair of pants, nothing else. The Prophet ﷺ, he told the man, listen carefully. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا ركع إن أعطيتها جلست ولا إزار لك. You can't give her your izar, and that's because you have nothing to cover your own odor with. If you sit down, you'll be naked if you give her that. So you got to find something else to give her. The Prophet ﷺ, he then said, فَلْتَمِسْ شَيْئًا قَالَ مَا أَجِدُ. Look for something. You got to have something. You got to have something to give her. There's no way you're that poor. The man says, I have nothing to give her. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِلْتَمَسْ وَلَوْ خَاتَمٍ مِّنْ حَدِيدٍ. Go find anything, something, even if it's a measly iron ring. Give her an iron, not a gold ring, not a white gold ring, rose gold, diamonds, an iron ring. She has to get something for her sadaq. The Messenger of Allah, alayhi salatu wasalam, he told this man to do the following. Then he said, فَالْتَمَسَ فَلَمْ يَجِدْ شَيْئًا فَقَالَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. The man found nothing, not even an iron ring. And that's when the Prophet asked him the golden question. هَلْ مَعَكَ شَيْءً مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ. How much Quran do you know? How much have you memorized? What surahs do you know by heart? And the man said, I know this surah, that surah, I have this of Baqarah, this Nisa, I have so on and so forth. I memorized some of the Quran. The Prophet ﷺ told the man, زَوَّجْتُكَهَا بِمَا مَعَكَ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ. I have deemed your marriage valid. It's processed, it's a success, the transaction has been successful. You are now married to her because of the Quran that you know. That will be her sadaq. And that will be the sustenance and the rizq that you will give her. Knowledge. Beautiful, beautiful hadith. And we can spend one day just explaining and expounding on this one hadith. The main lesson from the hadith is similar to the previous narration of Anas, is that the sadaq does not have to be gold and silver, but it can be some type of service, ta'lim, manumission, so on and so forth. We all on the same page? All right. What are some of the lessons that we can learn from this hadith briefly? Amir, quickly, from the top.
Mahar can be knowledge, just given as well.
Mahar can be knowledge. What else? From the sisters. What are the benefits from this hadith? Quickly.
Value the woman.
Value women, like we said before. What else? Further.
Offer herself.
that it's lawful for a woman to propose to a man. And that's not a shameful act. Your culture is one thing, the sunnah is something totally different. There's no shame in that. What else? Quick, come on guys. This hadith is bursting with fawaid.
You cannot offer your izar.
50 benefits in this one hadith.
You cannot offer your izar if that's the only thing you have.
You can't offer your izar if this, the wujub satr al-awra.
Yes, we just
The obligation of covering the awra. What else? Fadl?
Benefits of learning the Quran.
From the benefits of learning the Quran. The Quran, the spirituality, leads to worldly prosperity. That's a qaida. Inna ahaqqa ma akhadtum alayhi ajran kitabullah. What did the Prophet ﷺ say to the Sahaba? The most deserving thing for you to take money for is, if anybody would deserve the money, it's the scholar of Islam. There are many other benefits in this hadith. Fadl. A woman can approach a man for marriage. Good. We mentioned that. What else?
Reject.
The permissibility of rejecting. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing personal. There's nothing personal. Maturity. I asked the sister, she said no. Alhamdulillah.
نظرة الشرعية.
Another ash-shar'iyya. The permissibility, asenti, of looking at your potential wife. That the man should look at his potential wife. He should get a good look to see what he's investing in, to see what he's signing up for. And many young men, they make this mistake. They make this mistake.
Other way around.
And the woman as well should also get a good look at her potential husband. She should see what she's investing in. Many people, they make this mistake. I married your brother because of such and such, but later on, you don't do nothing for me. It's not my cup of tea. Tayyib, anything else? What other fawaid from this hadith?
You don't have to be rich to get married.
You don't have to be rich to marry. Allah is a razaq, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tawakkul. What else?
You can marry a slave woman.
You can marry a slave woman. The hadith of Anas is permissible as well. And there's a virtue in marrying her, and teaching her. Asantum. What else? Any other? Who else? There are many fawaid in this hadith. Further. The importance of the sadaq, and then it has to be something, shay'un. It has to be something. What else? Anybody else? Nobody else? Fadl?
There's sunnah. There's wisdom in following the sunnah.
The wisdom in following the sunnah. There's no question about that. The sunnah goes with the prosperity of life. Some scholars say this hadith proves the permissibility of wearing iron rings. Now, why would this be a mas'ala? Why would this even be a discussion? If it's not solid gold, what's the problem with an iron ring? Anybody know? Imitation. It's a good guess, but there's a specific reason why. Some scholars say that wearing iron rings is impermissible. Silver is lawful, but just plain iron, different metal that's not silver, some say it is unlawful to wear, or at least disliked. Anybody know? La. Good guess, but it's a different reason. Right, let's move forward. The last hadith of the chapter, Faddal, Sajid.
عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رأى عبد الرحمن بن عوف وعليه ردع زعفران فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم مهيم فقال يا رسول الله زوجت امرأة فقال ما أصدقتها
هل عندك شيء تصدقها؟ نفس الوزن. ما أصدقتها قال وزن نواة من ذهب قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بارك الله لك أولم ولو بشاة. Hadith number 16. Anas radiallahu anhu said that the Prophet ﷺ saw a trace of yellow on Abdurrahman bin Auf and asked what that was. Mahyam, mashan, mal-amr. Yani, ish hada? Mahyam. What is this? Why are you wearing this? He replied, I have married a woman for a weight of gold, nawat. He said, God bless you. Hold a wedding feast, even if only with a sheep, a weight of 5 dirhams. All right. So the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he saw his companion, his disciple, his friend, Abdurrahman bin Auf, and he saw something on him. meaning some type of dye, some type of perfume, some type of grease, some type of color on him that men in Arabia at that time didn't wear. Either women wore that, mushrikun wore that, but the Sahaba weren't supposed to dress like this. Like you see a man who comes to the masjid, he has a white robe on and he has lipstick on his collar. Right? Perfect example. He has lipstick on his collar. Alright? Or some makeup. You see the color of makeup when it's on a white garment. It's clearly makeup. So I see you with some makeup on your collar, some lipstick, I say, what the heck? What's going on? What is this? You come to the masjid, you come to the class like this? And then he says, he just got married. Oh, okay, tight, no problem. Meaning, you just got married, you're getting on your feet, things are a little, you just ran to the masjid, just in time. You're new to it. You with me or not? So once the Prophet ﷺ was informed that he just got married, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, he backed off of him. No problem. But if you didn't just get married, and if that wasn't from your wife, you're not supposed to be wearing that. You understand this? There's no reason why a man is supposed to have some type of perfume or something on his clothes. That's not from the clothing of men. Okay. So the Prophet ﷺ, he told him, Barakallahu laka. He said, may Allah bless you, O Abdurrahman ibn Auf, in your new marriage. Okay? Awlim walau bishatin. You must throw a walima. You have to throw a walima. You have to give a walima even if you only have one animal. So the main lesson from this hadith is the obligation of the walima. The wujub al-walima. Even if it's something simple and basic. If the only thing that you have for your walima was dates and milk, bismillah. It doesn't have to have camel meat or beef or lamb or goat. At my walima we had, alhamdulillah, we had soda and chips. So be it. What's important is the people come, they eat, they make dua for you, and they know that you are now married. And then when they see you in public, you're husband and wife. So the obligation of the walima. What other virtues or benefits we take from this hadith? There are several.
Marriage is a community thing.
It's a community thing, for sure. There are many benefits found right in the wordings of the hadith, such as what? Number one.
Announcement. So Al-Walima makes announcement so they don't see it as a...
Al-ibti'ad and shubha, yani stay away from doubtful things. People looking at you in a funny way, you walking with a woman, who's that? That's my wife. And you know that's my wife because of the walima. It's something else, but more benefits in this hadith.
Go back and do the walima if you didn't do it in the past.
Go back and do the walima if you didn't do it already. Tayyib, that's good. There's something else. Think about the sadaq. What did he say? How much money did he give her? He gave her silver. So this goes to show that the sadaq can be silver. It can be gold. A little or a lot. Everyone understand this? What other fawaid from this hadith do we find? A dua lil mutazawijin. You make dua for the newlyweds. Not crazy or yo or oh man or screaming. Make dua. May Allah bless you. Barakallahu laka. What else? This hadith shows us the impermissibility of men imitating women. And the impermissibility of Muslim men imitating mushrik men. He was wearing that za'faran, that saffron, that red color or dye, which wasn't from the style of men. So this hadith clearly rejects homosexuality in Islam and lesbianism. It clearly rejects the made-up rainbow. And FYI, this is just FYI, there are many homosexuals in the United States and in the Western world who do not accept the rainbow flag. And they look at the rainbow flag as being disrespectful. And they look at the rainbow flag as a means of further marginalizing someone who's already marginalized. There are many homosexuals who say is that we don't have no second flag. The American flag of a heterosexual is the same flag as a homosexual. So the point of this is, there's some Muslims who may put up the rainbow flag. And there are people who try to pressure you and force you to wear a rainbow emblem. You have to wear it. And if you don't wear it, then you're a homophobe. And if you don't wear it, you are an extremist. And you're this and you're that. I don't have to wear anything. And the proof for that is that rainbow flag doesn't represent all of the people who actually are homosexual and lesbian. And the idea that these people have their own new flag and their own emblem, that in itself, according to them, they consider to be ridiculous and racist and prejudiced in itself. So by me wearing this rainbow pendant and having this rainbow flag outside of my shop, that now teaches and shows everybody that us here in this shop, we're different than those who are next door for no reason except for our sexual orientation. And that in itself is supposed to be what? That's unconstitutional. Everybody understand this? That's what? It's unconstitutional. You're separating people for a reason. America is supposed to be liberty, pursuit of happiness, justice for what? Regardless of the race, color, creed, sex, gender, or political orientation. So the point I'm trying to make, and the more I'm trying to make, is the contradiction and the hypocrisy of those people. The rainbow flag itself makes no sense. I'm an American, the guy said. I'm a homosexual and an American. There's no rainbow. That's stupid. You don't have no separate identity. You're an American, and I'm an American. So don't allow anyone to force you or to bully you to say something or wear something or to support something or to condemn someone. And if you don't, then that means that you're this, you're that, so on and so forth. That's the moral of the story. Last but not least, or two more fawaid from this hadith. This hadith shows us, number one, is that the leader should look after his flock. The shaykh, yatafaqad ahwal al-talaba. He should look after his students. And that's why the Prophet asked him, Mahiyah, what's this? And last but not least, this hadith shows us the permissibility of eating red meat. And that if a person is a vegan, there's going to be many, many problems with his Islam and his Aqidah. Awlim walau binabat. Now, the hadith says, right, make a walima even if it's with what? Vegetables. La. It says even if it's what? Shatin. You fell for the trick. Right, inshallah. All right, alhamdulillah. We have successfully finished the chapter. Alhamdulillah, kitab al-nikah is done. لا نطلق وهما زوجناهم مرة أخرى خلي دور لاحقة طلاق خلاص. Inshallah. Are there questions? We have questions? That's the end of kitab al-nikah. Inshallah ta'ala. If there are questions, we'll take them from the floor now. Announcement once again. As we said.